Hello, Hogziller here again. In today's video, I will discuss how to use the warehouse for Tropico 6, including what is the warehouse and the processes you can do with the warehouse. If you like these kind of videos, press that like button. If you have a question or additional thoughts on the warehouse, leave a comment below, and please subscribe to my channel. So, what is the warehouse? The warehouse is where you can store up to 3 different resources for a maximum quantity of 10,000 each resource for a small monthly fee. These resources can then be held until they might be needed for processing, or they might be moved to a dock for exporting. Do note that you can upgrade your warehouses with the high-rise racks, where you can increase your storage capacity of that warehouse by 5,000 for each resource for an additional $5,000, while the random warehousing upgrade will increase the capacity of each resource by 50% for that specific warehouse for another $15,000. In my opinion, unless you are short on space, I would just build another warehouse for only $4,000, which is less than either of the upgrades I just mentioned, and you get another 10,000 capacity for 3 resources. How do you use the warehouse? That is simple. You first pick the resource you want to store, for example, coal. After you have picked your resource, then there are 3 buttons. The first button on the left determines if your Teamsters will keep sending that resource to that warehouse. Green means yes, red means no. This green yes, red no will hold true for all buttons for the warehouse. Then the second button is if you want to allow that resource to be removed from the warehouse to be used for processing. For example, if you are storing steel and you activate processing, then a steel mill or car factory could use this resource. The final button is to move the resource in question to the dock for exporting. Note that if you have the first button allowing storage, then the second and third button for processing and exporting have to be turned off, else the product would just be leaving just as quick as it was stored. Also note that if either the second or third button is activated, then the allow storage will always be in an off state for the same reason. Also note that if for the second and third button, you can have either one or both be activated at the same time. Or, as a last possibility, all 3 buttons can be in a red off state. Why do you need to have the warehouse? There really is not too many reasons to need the warehouse, but I can think of a few reasons. The first reason is you could be using a dock as a mini warehouse to store a resource, and that dock has been maxed out on the ability to hold more of that resource. So instead of building another dock, you could use a warehouse instead. The second reason is if you have a large island and your dock is a long distance away on the shoreline, so you might use a warehouse inland to hold resources instead of going back and forth from the dock. The third and final reason I can think of is if a quest requires it. I do know for sure that the New Frontiers DLC will require the use of warehouses, and I believe it is in the Race to Mars mission, where there are quests for certain resources to be stored in the warehouse so that they may be used as a part of that quest, and then they get deducted from your storage in that warehouse. That is all for this video. If you like these kind of videos, press that like button. If you have a question or an additional thought on the warehouse, leave a comment below and please subscribe to my channel. Thank you for watching and I'll see you next time.